What's poppin' T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's All Tea, All Shade Real Housewives of Orange County Season 15 Reunion Part 1. Now, I did stop doing reviews on Orange County midway through the season because it got kind of monotonous and boring to me. But based off the commercials for the reunion, I knew it was going to be lit, so I had to come back. So, like I do for every reunion, we have to talk about the looks. So, here are some of the pics from the ladies and their reunion looks. That is Elizabeth in a maroon colored dress. Here is a picture of Kelly Dodd. Boo, don't like that hoe at all. Here is a picture of Bronwyn. Girl, have several. Here is a picture of Gina, tens across the board, ma'am. She served a look. Here is Shannon Bador, a mess. And last but not least, here is Emily. Okay. All right. So for me, I'm going to have to give best hair to Gina. That sleek bob was life. You know, Gina had been having hairstyle problems like these last 2 seasons, but she looks great. This is the best Gina has ever looked in her life. Worst hair, of course, goes to Bronwyn. I don't know who put that weave in, the ombre roots. It was just way too young and juvenile. Like, girl, where is you going? You are not Britney Spears, bitch, or Christina Aguilera. Was not feeling it at all. Best makeup goes to Gina. It was a natural, sleek, very pinky nude makeup look. I loved it. Worst makeup to me went to Kelly Dodd. It was just too dark, too vampy. Best dress goes to Gina. Tens across the board, from her hair, the makeup, the jewelry, the outfit. That pantsuit was sickening. It was so current, so up to date. So happy to see somebody didn't have on sequins. She just looked great. An honorable mention goes to Emily when she was sitting down in her outfit. On camera, it looked great, but in photos, not so much. Worst dress, however, goes to Bronwyn. Like I said, her outfit was just way too young. The boots with the dress, it was just a mess. It was just like, where are you going? Are you going to the Teen Choice Awards, to the MTV Music Awards, or are you going to the reunion? Like, she looked like she trying to be the same age as the little girl she over there fucking. I didn't like it at all. And also, Shannon looked a mess. It didn't compliment her figure at all. It was too billowy. I hated those platform shoes. She was trying to go for like a Bridget Bardot 60s hairstyle, and it just didn't come across right. It just was a mess. So, on the reunion, it started with Andy asking Gina about her small house. You know, that it was said that Shannon was talking about her house early on in the season. They all say that Bronwyn was the one dissing her house, not Shannon. So all the ladies attacked Bronwyn on this subject. Emily confronts Bronwyn over, you know, what she was saying. You know, she was like, you know, I came from nothing. How dare you talk about somebody? And Bronwyn does have this like elitist, better than you, nose in the air type of attitude about herself. Bronwyn then apologizes, but stand behind the fact that she believes that Shannon did talk about her house and say that it was sad. So Bronwyn finally admits that she was talking about Gina's house, which was fucked up. Cause like, girl, you ain't got room to talk about nothing with how fucked up your life is. Despite everything, Gina said that, you know, she was still going to be there for Bronwyn, even though she is an asshole. And that's very nice of her. I don't know if I would personally, but okay, girl. So Shannon's ex won't meet with her new man, John, or co-parent with her. And I find that weird. Like, if you've moved on, you got a whole new bitch, a baby on the way, you're supposed to be so happy. Why is it so hard for you to deal with me? Unless, I mean, Shannon is even worse in real life than she is on television, then maybe I wouldn't want to, you know, talk to her, because Shannon is a lot to deal with. But y'all still have teenage girls that y'all need to, you know, talk to each other about on certain things. And I just find that ridiculous that you can't co-parent. Now, as far as meeting her new man, he don't need to meet that man. Like, it ain't like these little girls, or like they're like 5 and 6 years old. These are teenage girls that know how to speak up if this nigga step out of line and call my daddy. So Gina says that Shannon called her wasted one night crying about her and John's relationship and that she was concerned. Shannon has a problem with this, however, because it's making her seem like her relationship is just toxic, and you know, that she's a just drunk, sloppy mess, and she feels like Gina is up on her high horse and this, and that. And I'm like, Shannon is doing exactly to Gina what she did with Tamara and Vicky, calling them about her problems, crying all the time, being a victim, being a Debbie Downer. Don't nobody got time for all that. I don't want no girlfriend like that, where it's just constant drama and just depression and sadness all the time. Like, girl, get your life together. So Andy says that they invited John, but he declined to come. Shannon says he's a very private person. If he was such a private person, then why the fuck did he do the show? He ain't that private, girl. Like, stop with the excuses. Andy then says, Bronwyn, do you think that Shannon has a problem with alcohol? And Bronwyn says yes. Shannon says, however, that she doesn't. And I was like, girl, have you not seen yourself on this show since you've been on the show? It's obvious that you do have a problem with alcohol. Shannon storms Bador. Like, stop lying to yourself. Just how you confronted your weight issue, you need to confront these alcohol issues, because it's obvious that you have problems with depression. It's obvious that you have issues with drinking vodka all the time. Just because you dab it with some water, girl, don't mean that you don't have an alcoholism problem, and you really need to face that and deal with it, because that's the reason why that last nigga left you, with all that complaining and shit that your ass do. Not to say that you deserved it, but don't nobody want to be around it all the time. So Shannon talks about Bronwyn backstage to her fiance or her boyfriend John or whatever, and she says that she's going to bring up the Stella incident. She didn't plan on it, but now she's going to bring it up. So back on stage, the topic of COVID comes up. And they show Emily Shane and Shannon's daughter contracting it, and, you know, all the hardships that they had to go through. So Kelly, in the midst of it, starts coughing, and they all look at her like, I know you fucking lying. Did her test come back negative? Do we need to do another rapid one on her ass? Even Andy was looking like, I know this bitch ain't. So Andy then confronts her on her stance on, you know, wearing masks now, because, you know, she was adamant that this was a hoax, that it wasn't real, that people were just doing team too much. So Kelly says, I'll wear one because I have to, but I mean, do your farts protect you from, do your pants protect you from a fart? Are they helping? I don't know. Like, you had all season to come up with a response, and this is the response that you came up with. Do your pants shield you from a fart? What the fuck does a fart have to do with contracting a disease that could potentially kill you, you fucking ignoramus? Like, the fuck is wrong with this woman? Like, she is beyond fucking ignorant as hell. So Andy says, how many trips did you take in the beginning of COVID? And she was like, I was with my fiance in New York getting business taken care of. And Andy was like, your behavior on the show and social media has really outraged people. And Kelly says, my fan base is building. I haven't lost any followers. Like, there's no accountability there, nothing. Like, this woman is delusional as hell. She's crazy. So Andy says, I mean, the amount of messages I get that you're uneducated, you're putting out misinformation, that you're behaving like a moron. And then Kelly gets defensive, like she has the nerve to, and says, I get them too, saying you're anti-American for putting your political beliefs out there. They don't want to watch a political show. And Andy says, I'm anti-American because I don't like Donald Trump. And Kelly says, yeah. And Andy was like, okay. And I was like, I know you're not just going to end it right there. Like, you ain't got nothing else to say to that. Out of everything she just said, only thing you're going to say is, okay. I'm going to come back to you in a minute. So then he asks her about saying that it was God's way of thinning out the herd. And Kelly says, I didn't mean to hurt people. Like, this is common sense shit that a woman of her age knows what she's doing when she says these types of things. So then she dances around the topic of when her mama caught COVID. Like, God don't like ugly, ma'am. So then he brings up people wanting to boycott the show because of the things she said. And Andy said, did it ever give you a cause for pause? And Kelly says, yeah, Andy, I feel like shit, and you're making it worse. I'm like, how you gonna turn this around and blame him? Like, this woman is a fucking sociopath. So then Andy says, are you worried you're going to be on the wrong side of history? And Kelly says, oh my God, what do you want from me? I'm sorry for hurting people's feelings when there wasn't my intent. I mean, what do you want? And Andy was like, okay, all right. And I'm like, are you really letting, like, bagging up off of her? Like, oh, okay, all right. But when it was Monique a few months ago, you gave her your complete ass to kiss. You were completely rude and arrogant towards her. You downed her husband and their finances. You downed her career as, you know, her singing and rapping or whatever the hell she be over there doing. You had so many snide comments to say and holding her feet to the fire. But when it came to Kelly, you had nothing the fuck to say. When her shit that she had going on was way more serious than that little bitty petty ass schoolyard fight that Monique and Candias had. Like, this girl is racist. She was ignorant when it came to the pandemic. She says stupid shit all the fucking time. She blames everybody else for the stupid shit that she does. She gets smart with you and you have nothing the fuck to say. Like, from a person that comes from St. Louis, you're from my hometown. We come from the same hometown. You have made yourself look like a fucking fool. You have not only embarrassed yourself, you have let down all of us here, because I rooted for you, Andy, like on some Tyra Banks type shit. Like, we all rooted for you. You was the hometown hero, somebody that came from St. Louis that made it big. And yeah, he came from Creve Coeur. That ain't nothing but a suburb of St. Louis. Let's get that straight, okay? Yeah, you stayed in an affluent part. It ain't that affluent. I mean, keep it real. I stay in a more affluent area than Creve fucking Coeur. But any fucking way, like, really fucking, my G, like, really, this is what you do? Like, you're not gonna hold this woman to, you know, you're not gonna hold her accountable for the shit that she has said? Like, and you're just gonna bag up off her on some, oh, okay, all right. Like, she gonna get up and whoop your ass or something. But you had all the attitude and neck rolling and eye rolling and shit for Monique. There is a blatant difference with how he treats the white housewives versus the black housewives, and this proved it. And that was another reason why I wanted to do this review, because I wanted to see what was going to be the difference. And it was a major difference with the way that he handled Kelly Dodd. If Kelly Dodd come back after this season, child, I don't even know what I'm gonna do, because her ass needs to be fucking fired ASAP. She does not need to be holding not now orange, peach, banana, mango, nothing, glass of water, nothing. She needs to be holding a whole bag of shit, and so do you. With everything that's going on with Black Lives Matter and the state of the culture and everything that's going on with the pandemic, you would think that he would not only check her but educate her on the stupid shit that she said. You had months to prepare for this reunion. You had nothing to say to this woman. You let her punk you and then play the victim. I mean, Andy, what do you want from me? You're making it worse. Like, she's fucking 5 years old. Fuck you, Andy Cohen. Fuck you, Andy Cohen. You old silver-haired bastard. So Elizabeth says she hasn't donated the car that she said she was going to donate to charity. Girl, fuck you too, you wide back bitch up her shape like a goddamn football player. So Gay Jimmy is brought up, and she says, he was there for her. That's why she's with him. And it was hard to see everyone dog their sex life because it was embarrassing to his conservative Mexican family. Girl, it needs to be embarrassing that this nigga won't fuck you with a 10-foot pole. That's what you need to be concerned about. That your nigga like dick and he don't like you. So Andy asks that she still love her ex, and she says that she always will. And they looking at her like, really, bitch? So Bronwyn says, I have a good friend who's friends with him and his fiance. And Elizabeth says, my ex-husband, he has a fiance now? And like, she said in a way like, how you gonna tell me about my nigga? Like they still together. Like, this girl is still living in the past. Like, she is delusional. Brahma says, yes. She says they've been together for 5 years. Elizabeth says, first of all, they're not engaged, or I would know. How the fuck you gonna know? Like, you the first person he gonna call to tell that he fucking engaged. Like, girl, y'all been divorced for 5 years. The fuck? So Bronwyn says, my girlfriend spent the summer traveling with them. They called my friend who I was with. Her ex get on the phone too. Their story was very different. I spoke to him. They all get on her for speaking to the ex because they feel like that she's trying to dig up dirt on Elizabeth. Hell, somebody need to, because the shit don't add up. It's one thing one episode, another thing the next episode. All of a sudden she from a cult. This lady is fucking weird. So Elizabeth says, I feel sorry for his girlfriend. But I was like, you feel sorry for his girlfriend, but you still love him. Make it make sense, sis. So Bronwyn says, fiance. And Gina says, why do you have to correct it? And Bronwyn says, it's been 5 years. And I was like, exactly, Bronwyn. So Bronwyn and Elizabeth start to argue, and Elizabeth go off on her and say, don't judge me with your cynical behavior, your backlashes, your two-faced personality. Fuck you. I did not want to be on that trail with you in Arrowhead because I knew you were a backstabbing bitch. And I was like, where was this Elizabeth all season? You ain't have shit to say all season, and then you want to bring it at the reunion because you trying to secure that peach or that orange or whatever the fuck y'all hold, because you know you need the coins. So Andy says, why did you look into Elizabeth's finances? And Bronwyn says, I called my girlfriend and she had already did a title search. I support women, but I hold them accountable. And Elizabeth says, worst lesbian ever. I was like, what does it got to do with her being a lesbian? You could be a lesbian and still be an asshole. So they discuss Bronwyn's alcoholism, and she says that she's an addict too, like she has just addictive behavior. So Kelly says, your alcoholism was all for a storyline. And I was like, really? Like, that was nasty. Like, how you gonna accuse this woman of lying about being an alcoholic? Once again, Andy's sitting there on mute, not saying nothing. So Bronwyn says, fuck you. And Kelly says, you're a liar. And Bronwyn says, this is vile, even for you. Like, it cracked me up when white women call each other disgusting and vile. Like, that's the worst thing you could say about somebody. So Andy says, you could be a functioning alcoholic. And Emily says, she woke up drunk on the balcony. Andy says, it does seem like a bit of your narcissism comes from your mother. Bronwyn says, no, I just have a big ego. And I was like, girl, that's the same thing, but okay, girl. It's that ponytail. It was way too tight. So Gina say, I went with her to AA. Nobody's pretending to be an alcoholic. Kelly still don't believe it, though. And I'm like, get her stupid ass off this fucking show. I'm sick of this hoe. So Shannon says, me and John spent a lot of time with Bronwyn and her husband the summer before last. I didn't know I was going to say this, but as a mother, I'm going to. When my daughter Stella was 14 years old at her very first beach barbecue, you went up to her and said, if you want the good stuff, text me. And I was like, wow, this girl offering her 14-year-old daughter her hookup, her dealer for drugs, my nigga. Bronwyn need to be fucking fired, and fucking Kelly need to be fired, and let Wyatt back the fuck go too, because she ain't bring nothing to the show. Now, word on the curb is from All About the Tea, who has a really huge YouTube channel. They put out a statement this morning saying, Bravo has emailed me begging I change my blog to protect at Bronwyn, just like Jeffrey Epstein's friends protected him for years. Bravo knows they're complicit in this mess, so they're scrambling to make edits to that reunion. However, they can't stop at Newport Beach PD from talking to Stella and CPS from investigating this crime. Bravo was quick to fire Black Phaedra over something that didn't even happen, but protect their drug-addicted, drunk, abusive child predator, white housewife. So I don't know how true this was, because they did keep the footage in the show. Maybe they just went ahead and kept it in the show because it had already gotten out there. But if this is true, it's so much shit over there going on at Bravo behind the scenes. They need to clean the fuck house and start all over again, because this is a fucking mess. So that was my review on the Real Housewives of Orange County. Hell, Andy need to be fired. Them 3 hoes need to be fired. I'm tired of seeing all of their asses. We need a black host on there that's going to say what they say and mean it, from the heads of their head to the bottom of their feet. I know that wasn't right, but what the fuck ever, because I'm pissed the fuck off. I'm so mad at Andy Cohen. Like, fuck you. Fuck you, nigga. Fuck you. You better not bring your ass back here to St. Louis no motherfucking more. You are not welcome to the barbecue with your silly ass. Anywho, make sure you guys thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button, and let me know what y'all thought about this shitty ass fucking reunion and Andy Cohen weak ass. Love you guys. Bye.